Hi, today's Monday, Martin Luther King Day. I hope that everyone's observing the holiday, although I personally think that we've made a lot of advancement back in the 1960s and 70s when I was a kid. It seems we liked each other a lot better, or at least we felt we were on the same playing field. I definitely think it's a political action to try to divide us. They're talking about voting rights. I just heard on television that blacks have to wait more time online. I mean, everybody waits online. This is ridiculous conversation, and it just divides us. I want you, if you're black, I want you to vote. I hope you'll let me vote, but I want to make sure I am me when I'm voting, so I think getting an ID is important too. They're so vague when they talk on television about voting rights. They don't say what voting rights, they just say voting rights in general. And it's just terrible the way they try to manipulate us. Well, besides that, let's talk about bngo, because I think it's sort of along the same line, same strategy. I saw a guy that's doing shorts, and he's giving this explanation saying that, well, if you did only this much sales, 17.9 million shares sales, then you should only be worth this. And then he says, they've only sold this many machines, and this company's not worth that much. And some of you actually believe this crap. Let's put it this way. The most profitable companies in the world that make profit right away are like contractors, pizza places, places that can be duplicated over and over and over again. So why aren't they public companies? Can you answer that question? So let's take my business, a roofing contractor. A roofing contractor that does $5 million a year will make $2 million profit. But does that mean that I can do $100 million or $200 million? Well, the fact of the matter is no. As a matter of fact, no one ever becomes a big company that's actually doing the work. There's many companies out there, like Sears and Roebuck, for instance, that used to do a lot of work because they financed the work. Their business was financed, not roofing, right? So it's just not going to happen. Those type of businesses aren't going to make it. Now let's go back to bionanogenomics so you understand this. Here's a company that has a very unique software, has a software company now for software development, and has a device. And it has a next generation device coming out, which they already showed the prototype, which is probably related to the nano nozzle. Nanotechnology really got popular and hot back in 2004, 2003, right? So people were investing a lot in nanotechnology. And it didn't go anywhere. But now it's ready, okay? The soup is done. There's not too much salt in it, okay? It's not too spicy. It's ready, okay? This industry, genomics, is about to explode. And it's going to explode, for example, because they now can determine, hey, you know what? You're not susceptible to AIDS, or you're not susceptible to COVID. They can tell you that. Basically every person should have a DNA or genomics test before long. It's like getting a colonoscopy. It's a requirement because you want to cut off the disease before it happens. This is the age where we are now. Not treatment when you're sick, but treatment before you get sick. Treatment that says, hey, we don't have to isolate people from each other because COVID exists. We can test the entire population and determine who's susceptible and who's not susceptible. That's what it comes down to. Now you have these people that are shorts out there doing videos. I have to say they're much more intelligent than I am, and do a much better presentation. But they're telling you, in fact, that everything is wrong with bngo. It's going to $1. I even have shorts that call me and say, oh, Mark, I hope you're okay, and don't worry, this is a great company, but I just want you to know it's going to go to $1. Are you kidding me? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm really from Florida? I'm from Jersey originally. I know a con when I see one. You're trying to con me. You're trying to scare me. Oh, let me sell before it goes down. Well, let me tell you something. The biggest news I heard, the game changer, the game over, was what I heard from Stockton. Excellent presentations, by the way, that Stockton does. You never see who he is, but he does excellent presentations. What did he say? He said that Cisco Trader put out that they now have a test that can determine who's susceptible in their genes to COVID. Now, what does that do for society? Let's now go back to the Martin Luther King observation. Martin Luther King had to do the right thing years ago and lead his people peacefully to stand up for their rights, right? Bring equality, more equality. Had to go to the people in this area, Tampa, and say, you can't ask us to go to the back of the bus. You can't ask us to not eat in your restaurants. This is America. This is a free country, and we are all equal. Well, yes, we are all equal. We are definitely all equal, and the work that he did was amazing and very important. Unfortunately, these diseases that come along, okay, play on our bodies differently. So in order to really keep peace among the masses, to make sure that people are equal access to genetic discoveries and prevention of medicine, we have to do these DNA tests. This is a movement for peace. I mean, how many of you know the mask police out there? How many of you have been hollered at, or you hollered at someone because someone didn't have a mask? Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. Too many of us. You go into a grocery store and someone's hollering at you. You go, to a post office and people look at you weird. There are people that are susceptible. Now, it's been discovered, right, this year. Now all of a sudden they're coming out with this comment that, well, yes, we have many pediatric patients in the hospital that came in for another disease that have COVID. No kidding. We now know that so many of the people that died prior were listed as COVID, but they had come into the hospital for something else that was very serious. So how do we balance this? How does bionanogenomics come into the fray here of being a great company? Well, let's think back of to 2000, 2001, 2002, back when they bashed all the tech companies. Every tech company was garbage. Everybody's just paying for clicks, and this is ridiculous. They're not real companies. They're never going to last. I remember after I had started one of the original internet auctions called Auction Quest. I failed. Period. I couldn't attract any money. I failed because I couldn't attract money. But it was the right idea. So here I am with my head down, thinking that auctions are not going to be on the internet. But in fact, are they? Yes, they are. And in fact, do we have internet news? I was actually building a porch after I was flat broke, and I'm living in an apartment with no heat, no hot water for a year, and I'm, my tail is between my legs, and here I am working for a Fox News person, who, by the way, was kind of nasty, and she came home and she was kind of crying because her boss, actually the big boss, I forget his name, it doesn't mean anything to me, but she was like, oh, I was in the internet department and they let me go. They don't think the internet's going to be real. This was Fox News, and the time was year 2000, right when the crash came. I told her, I said, listen, the economy will be brought back by the internet. Everything will be changing because of the internet. It doesn't matter what people say. It's going to happen. I sat with Michael Madden, the president of Toys R Us, who was my neighbor, and I told him, I said, listen, Michael, everything is going to be on the internet. I don't care what it is. Toys, insurance, cars, it's all going to be there. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I guess back in the summer of 2020, when everybody was COVID crazy and I'm just working on the roof and enjoying myself because everybody else is nuts, I said to myself, bionanogenomics, why is this stock moving? I think it went from 50 cents to 78 or whatever. So I bought 100,000 shares. And I read about it, and I said, wow, this is it. This is the whole thing. This is the whole game. Genomics, telling people who's going to get it, who's going to die from it, who's not going to get it, is everything. That's freedom. That's equality. You don't get more equality than that. And that's my point to you here. Everybody that's bashing this stock can say whatever they want to say. I think that I would be a fool, and again, I do not give financial advice, but I would be a fool if I would sell out of all my shares. It's just asinine. Just like I knew in 1991, 93, that an internet auction was appropriate business. I know now that we are in the right place with genomics. Editing genes, I don't know. I mean, it's complicated. But every pharmaceutical company should be using OGM. Every hospital should be using OGM. For that matter, you, your children, your spouse should be getting a test with OGM. The price will come down and we'll know so much more, and society will be happier. Can they take it? And I've written this too. I said that, the DNA sequencing and the DNA collection could lead to the next biological warfare or the next elimination of masses of people. And I do believe that. If the information is not secure, they can create diseases, and they may have done that with AIDS because it went after gay men primarily. And it could annihilate, people like they did with the Jews, like they did with the Armenians, right? Like they did with the Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina, right? They're killing people because of who they were, what they believed, how they acted, right? We had slaves that were black even in America. It's hard to believe, right? But people are people, and they are always going to be scared or mean and nasty and try to control people or hurt people. So let's think about this. Genomics can do so much good, but it can also do so much bad. But the key is that you better go after the good right away. And you better control the access, even cumulatively, so that they don't say, okay, these people and these people are susceptible to this. For all I know, this COVID virus and its mutations could have been an attack on, a certain type of people, right? People are sick out there. They're crazy assholes. You don't have to look far. And they're using the people with smiles. If they want to eliminate somebody, they can use genomics to do it. But what do? It's important that we invest in a company that can find out this information so that if we are susceptible, we can plan on protecting ourselves. I mean, I just had a beautiful granddaughter. Her father's Israeli. I will die for that child. Die to protect her. And, mean, nasty people. I mean, I do think in World War II they were doing a lot of medical stuff they just really felt that people were different. And we are. But avoiding genomics and not paying attention to the potential of good and evil, it's only going to end up with evil. And that's why I'm an investor in bionanogenomics. They need to get this information out, and the media should have been all over it. I mean, I'm tempted. I happen to be a good salesperson. I'm tempted to get on the phone and call 500 different small news outlets and pitch this story that this company with optical genome mapping can actually tell you whether you're susceptible to COVID based on, I brush up on the technical stuff, based on this. I mean, it's a game changer. I heard Stockton this weekend. That's it. Game over. Done. The stock is worth a fortune. That's all I have to say today. Please be nice to each other. Don't disrespect people because they're black or white or Chinese or or this or that. But don't fall into the problem of the world today, where we're gonna feel sorry and kind of isolate these groups like me, right, a Mexican Arabic guy, and say, well, he's that type or he's that. Don't generalize. Just be nice to everybody, and the people that aren't nice, stay the hell away from them. Don't forget to pray for Kathy Wood. Pound, pray for Kathy Wood, because I sense that she's a good woman. I mean, you got to really pay attention to her. She's really doing the right things. If she's not investing in bngo, who cares? She's still investing in genomics, and that's what we should all be doing, I think. This is not financial advice. This is one crazy-ass roofer. By the way, we had a tornado down here, so I went around fixing people's roofs yesterday and Saturday, free, down here in Clearwater. But I'm getting the itch to get back on the roof. Cheers, ciao, whatever. Have a wonderful day.